Right, you know, and I have just got to talk about this. Bloody hell. Is this the world we're living in, where we got the most powerful man in the world and the most rich man in the world beefing and fighting like 13-year-old girls on Facebook? This is 2025. I've somehow missed it, which I would be very surprised if you somehow have. Trump and Elon Musk have fallen out. They have beef, right? For Republicans, this is a bit like Kendrick versus Drake, when Kendrick and Drake were once on a song together, were once friends, now enemies who were doing everything to destroy the reputation of the other, played out all in public. And I just think it's hilarious. I'm not American. I don't really have much of a stake in any of this. I'm watching this as a neutral. It is just funny, isn't it? So, now let's get the backstory of how this all happened. Now, it all started when the president announced a new bill. Now, this bill was very controversial, because basically all it did was add a lot of debt to the country and give more money to the rich, because they need more, obviously. Just screams Trump economics, doesn't it? But Elon had a big problem with this bill, right? Now, his issue with this bill wasn't the real reason to have an issue with this bill. His issue was that it removed tax cuts for people with electric cars. Of course, Elon is the face of Tesla. So this is a massive issue for Elon. And he was outraged, obviously, 'cause this was like a betrayal, a stab in the foot. It's quite funny, because I always found the kind of mix-up of Elon Musk in with these Republicans and in with MAGA was a bit not the perfect fit, and I know many members of MAGA weren't actually quite pro-Elon. But Elon has the anti-woke mantra with his woke mind virus and all of that stuff, so he fits the bill for that, but the problem is, when it comes to stuff like climate, he's very indifferent, or when it comes to foreign visas, that was a massive talking point, wasn't it, when the rich people getting the foreign visas, Elon was very pro that, and MAGA was not with that. So there was some disagreement there. There was also a thing where Elon had a black eye the other week, and there was all kind of theories about that. He claims it was his son. I'm not convinced. Now, Elon was sulking about this. But then Trump, of course, had to retaliate. Of course he did. Trump claimed and did this whole speech about how, well, the people, when they come in to our administration, they love us, and then they leave and they hate us. I called it Trump derangement syndrome. That's basically what I'll put the clip in.
People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly, and some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome.
I've got to think, right? So you're telling me all these people like his former Attorney General, or people like his former Vice President Mike Pence, these people who he's very pro, who are with him, they fall out and then they hate him afterwards. And once or twice it's a coincidence, but when it's happened this many times, maybe you're the problem, President. It's a bit like Taylor Swift, how she keeps dating all these different guys and always keeps dropping songs about how awful they are and how they mess her up. And like, yeah, maybe the first 2 times we bought it, Taylor, but by this point, surely you're part of the problem as well. And I always think that here. It's stupid to even strike a deal with the president. Team up with the president is about as smart an idea as marrying Henry the bloody Eighth. It's gonna end in tears, isn't it, really? After this Trump derangement syndrome comment, this really struck a chord in Elon. This really upset him, right? He was not happy with this retaliation response to the president. Elon, like a 13-year-old girl, went to Twitter to go slag him off. Claimed he wouldn't have won the election without him, and then later went on to say that he's in the Epstein files, and that's the reason they've not been released. Now, the election thing, right? Deny Elon Musk's promotion and investment into the Trump administration was a big part in how they won. I don't think it was the only reason. I'd argue Joe Rogan probably had a bigger influence than Elon Musk, but it is, right? It just seemed a bit desperate. It's like, you'd be nothing without me, you wouldn't have won without me. Well, he won in 2016 without you, Elon. Yeah, he lost in 2020, although, you know, don't ask him about that because he wouldn't tell you that he lost in 2020. But, you know, I just think it's a bit of a weak argument, really. Like, yes, Elon had a big impact, but I don't think that's the only reason he won. Unless Elon's suggesting that somehow he rigged it or stole the election, which is absurd, and I'm not even claiming that, but like, we're one tweet away from Elon admitting to stealing the election, but the Epstein one is the one that I find the funniest, right, because it kind of is just stating the obvious, isn't it? Like, I guess it's a big deal because it is Elon Musk stating this about the president, but we all know he's in the files. I mean, the common consensus is that Trump is mentioned in the Epstein files multiple times, but there's no actual illegal activity of him in these files. Now, still doesn't make it look that good for the president, the fact that he was morally complicit in all that Epstein was doing, and had flights there at the island which have been found, and I've talked about that before, and it's not great, but it's not really the slam dunk that Elon believes it to be, because it's something we already know. I just think this screamed a bit desperate. It's like when you break up with your ex and you got to find negative stuff to say about them, so you're just over the top and desperate, you know what I mean? That's what this feels like. This is the most childish thing you ever see. These men are two of the most powerful men in our planet, and they're doing this, you know what I mean? It is just embarrassing. Next step is quite interesting, because before, when Trump would go head to head with somebody or fall out with someone, he'd always win because, well, he's Donald Trump and they were nobody. But Musk has definitely got his own platform without him. Musk definitely hasn't arrived it, and it's going to be interesting to see what MAGA feel about this. They're probably going to still stick with Trump, and they might turn on Elon, which would be really funny. What if, imagine the right start burning Cybertrucks now. That would be impressive, you know. There's not many people that the right and the left hate, you know what I mean? Like Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, maybe, like, historically, but nowadays, is there anyone that is hated by both sides? Apart from, like, terrorists, I think both sides hate ISIS, don't they? Andrew Tate, maybe? I think even Republicans have turned on Tate at this point. James Corden? They should both hate James Corden. Jack Doherty? Jake Paul? You know what I mean? But Musk is in a specific collection that I think everyone probably hates him now, which is quite funny. But we knew this was going to happen from the start. Anyone who thought Musk wouldn't be out the door so quick you could call him Liz Truss was an idiot, because when you've got two men with such ego and power, it never works. They can never compromise. And Elon seems to be a bit of a crybaby, a bit of a man-child. And when he doesn't get his own way, like with this Tesla thing, he kicks off and storms off like he's the bloody beast losing on the chase. The funniest thing about this as well is that on the same day this all kicked off, in the UK, our right wing had a massive shake-up as Zia Yusuf, who was the chairman of Reform UK, left after a row over the banning of the burqa. I always find it fascinating that the chairman of Reform was a Muslim. It would be the equivalent of me teaming up with RFK Jr. Like, it didn't really make sense, but yeah. Zia's gone now, which, again, is funny. Similar to Trump, Zia Yusuf, Ben Habib, and Rupert Lowe all falling out with Nigel Farage in a year. And he's only got 5 MPs. It's going to be carnage when he inevitably wins the way that we're going. So I just found this whole thing fascinating and really embarrassing. And it really showed the state of the world that we're in when the two most powerful people, for different reasons, are fighting like 13-year-olds over what the best One Direction member is. Yeah, I had to do a video on this because I just think it was funny. Whose side am I on? Can I pick them both to lose? I think they're both as embarrassing as each other. I think somehow Elon might be worse. I can't believe I'm siding with the president, but I think I am siding with him on this because I think Elon is just so unhinged. I think that he really believed he had something with that Epstein line, and it fell flatter than fucking Iggy Azalea's freestyle rap. Who must put a serious war on Trump? Will he go high with this bill? Probably. He's got the money to do it. The funniest thing, by the way, before I wrap up this video, by the way, is that there are calls now for some people to deport Elon Musk because apparently he's illegal, which, if Musk got deported, that would be the funniest, like, karma of all time. Like, you fought for Trump as president and you ended up getting deported. Like, that might be the most embarrassing. He can't come back from that, surely. That might be the most embarrassing Elon moments, is that time they found out he wasn't actually playing that video game he claimed to be good at, and he was paying people to play the game for him. It'd be up there with that, you know what I mean? But yeah, I will see you all soon. Goodbye.